Hello, everyone. It is summer and warm here, and Europe is suffering under a heat wave. And I am back in my own garden. I was just in France, and I was on a bit of a nerdy trip with my son, going around the World War One battlefields. It was pretty warm, I can tell you. But I am back in my own garden now. It's a little bit chillier here, a bit further north, and the sun hasn't really started to warm up this much yet, and I'm in the shade. So um, I'm I had received a few lists that people wanted me to help with, and this is the first video of that. Um, so it's a list review, and it's for Jason's fins. So I'll just share his list so you guys can see it as well, and we'll talk about what he can do and how this works and what he should be thinking about. So here we go. Sharing. Right. So Jason has made a 1,000 point finish list. It's 13 order dice. That is a bit in the low end of good. Um, but since Jason, you're playing Finns, um, Finns typically have a lot of veteran units, expensive units, so this is what you're going to have to live with, I guess. Starting out with the second lieutenant, this is the cheapest one you can get. You might actually want to do to buy him an extra man because he's regular, so he does benefit quite a lot from that extra dude with the submachine guns, or even because they're Finns, rifles would be actually a good idea because the officers are still infantry, so they will still benefit from the Finnish rifle rules. So that could be a thing, right? Why will it not go down? Oh, there we go. Okay. Um, so the best part about Finns is, of course, their infantry. The Finnish have the best infantry of the game. There's only a little bit with how they are equipped that can sometimes be annoying. Um, and and Jason builds his Finns exactly the way I would have done. He has 8 man in the unit, which means that as soon as he has lost 4, they get upgraded to veteran. That's perfect. So as soon as possible, they get the upgrade as soon as possible, right? They don't have to suffer 5 casualties. And 2 Panzerfaust in the continuation war units here. The rest with rifles, that is perfect. That is exactly what I would do. These units are basically there to, you should place them on the board so that they can sort of cover the angles of approach of enemy armor, because no armored units want to drive up against 2 Panzerfausts. They will stay away from them. And you have the 18-inch range of threat, which means that they're going to try and stay 18 inches away. So you can sort of dominate the board with these Panzerfausts. Other than that, they should be in cover, preferably hard cover, and they should be most of the time on ambush. City Recons. One, two of those. I would actually have bought 4. Sorry, not 4. 3 of these City Recons. The City Recons are the best infantry of the game, especially because of their special rules, Master of the Hunt, and you can buy tough fighters for them. So they're really tough to get in close combat. Master of the Hunt means that you can advance and then go on ambush, which the Finnish national special rules means that from ambush you get +1 to hit. So basically they have +1 to hit. They are really, really good. And they are really the absolute pinnacle of skirmish infantry in the game. Better even than the Americans. So, yeah. Um, so I would buy a lot of these if I could. And 8-man units is perfect. That is the way you want to go. Then they have enough bodies to suffer a few casualties and still be a threat. And they have enough rifles to whittle down and be an effective skirmish unit. Yeah. and nobody wanted to charge 8 veterans in cover. Ooh, that is no good. The Jakaris, I am not actually a fan of the Jakaris. Yes, they are pretty good. They are veterans with some machine guns, but they don't benefit from the Finnish national special rules, and they're not that different from other veteran units. They're basically the same as the Soviet scouts or whatever. And they don't have any special rules that they benefit from. They can take the Panzerfaust, which Jason does here, but they become very, very expensive. They are almost the same price, or maybe even more than if I buy Gurkhas, and Gurkhas are way better. So I am not a fan of Jakari infantry. I simply think it's overcosted, or at least not special in any sense of the word. So for me, I would rather have a city unit more than the Jakaris here. Right, a sniper team. You have to buy a sniper team. If you're going to go with Finns, you have to buy a sniper. And I think you should buy a veteran sniper. The Finnish are so good on ambush, so good snipers. You need to win that sniper duel. I think he should be veteran. Then a regular heavy mortar team. Um, I don't, I can't actually remember if you can do this, but you might consider just dumping the spotter and making it inexperienced if you can. Save the points and buy the veteran sniper. Um, I'm not sure you can do that with the Finns, but if you could, you should. Simply because you're going to win the sniper duel. So you're going to win whatever happens in the midfield, the skirmishing. So your heavy mortar team is not really going to be threatened by enemy snipers. Then it might be threatened by enemy darker stewards or whatever, but then you'll go down. So inexperienced 4 men sitting in heavy cover, you're gonna survive, even a steward. So I think if you could, you should save the points there. Artillery. Yes, this is one of the things that Finns lack. It is the heavy punch of the Daka, and you get that from howitzers. I think most of the time I would have my howitzer sitting, being ready to fire directly, which means that the spotter may not be needed. But it really depends on your meta, your local meta, how much terrain you usually get on boards. So I guess it's kind of good. The BA-10. BA-10 is a poor man's version of a tank, really. 7+ recce, unreliable, 4+ anti-tank gun light, and 2 LMGs. 95 points. Is it worth 95 points being unreliable? It takes a lot of pins, and it's really, really vulnerable to like even anti-tank guns, anti-tank rifles, and autocannons. I think maybe we could cut this out again as well if we wanted to use the points for something better. Usually, you can see Finnish lists that go for some sort of armor. The Komsomolett somehow has turned into a fan favorite, and the BA-28. Oh no, that's not a BA. The T-28, captured Soviet T-28, is pretty good, and it's also very large. You can hide behind it. The BA-10, I'm not sure it's worth the points, but I mean, without armor in a Soviet platoon, your platoon does turn into an all-infantry veteran unit platoon. So it's, ooh, yeah, right. You're gonna have to have something else. The artillery is good. The armor, I'm not sure about. Horse-drawn limber, if you can, yes, go with that. That's a very easy, very cheap order dice. You don't usually need it to draw your artillery in because the artillery now gets the 6-inch move, and most of the time it starts on the board, right? But it is a pretty cheap order dice, and you can have it. Just remember to stick it behind some line of sight marking cover. The truck is needed for the Jakari unit to get that to mid-board, but it has 12-man capacity, and none of your units will fit in that. So for me, that is no good. That is wasted transport slots, because with the truck, you pay for each seat on that truck. And you are even paying it regular, and it hasn't got an MMG. I see no reason to do that. You want to, I know what you want to do with it. You want to outflank the Jakaris in on the side, getting out of that transport. Flamers are better at that. The Jakaris will possibly not kill what you're aiming at, and will definitely, if the enemy is any good, you'll drive straight into an ambush, which means that your transport and or your Jakaris will get shot up. It can work, especially if you're not playing against competitive players. It can work. It can really work, and all the more power to you if you can make that work and do well with it. I think against competitive players, you're going to struggle with that combo of Jakaris in a truck driving up and SMGing the shit out of something. And then we have the Consommolette. Now, why people love this so much, I have no idea, but I can tell you what I think. It's 35 points. It's pretty cheap. It's 7+, so it's armored. You can stick it on your back line and just have it be an LMG team putting out pins. That's 4 shots. That's a way cheaper, maneuverable, armored version of an MMG team. So pretty good in that regard. Jason is buying it regular, which I think you should. And it's unreliable, so it really benefits if you have a lieutenant standing close by it. Normally, I would not use the transport, although it does have a transport, but there are no units in Jason's army that it can actually transport. For the lieutenant, but all of his infantry is 8-man units, and it has 6-man transport capacity. So the Consommolette is there to be an LMG on the back line. And as that, it really works well. It will take a lot of pins, though, because it's open-topped. And anything that can reach out, any machine gun that can reach out will pin it and will double pin it. So it's not brilliant, but it's there, and it's pretty cheap as well. So, Jason, those were my comments for your army. It is a pretty good army list. I can see that you know what you're doing with the Finns. There are some choices that I am in doubt about. I think perhaps the BA-10 needs to go. You don't really need its anti-tank capabilities, since you have all those Panzerfausts. Jakaris, do they really need to be there? I don't think they do. But that aside, if you like those units, you can make them work. It's just my dislike that I'm voicing here. Right. So that was it. Thank you so much, Jason, for the list, and good luck to you.